creator of the NRC brand, gives his insight and thoughts on the world of comic books, gaming, tech, and media industries as the host of Neo Reality Collective. Experience a slew of regular episodes covering news and pop culture, along with reviews and editorial pieces showcasing the best and worst of our ever-expanding multimedia world.
Welcome back, everyone, to Neo Reality Collective. I am your host, Dirk Brown of the NRC brand, and oh boy, I've been missing out on a lot of stuff. I've been working on preparing for the 10th anniversary well in advance, so I don't do anything last minute like I usually do, and there are plans in place, but like I said, anything can change in past posts and whatnot, and other projects and podcasts. But yeah, there are plans in place for the 10th anniversary of NRE, and there are plans to change things up and bring about the ultimate reboot of everything that you've all ever known. So we're approaching the 10th anniversary. I'm excited for that. But that's later, this is now. And we got to finish up these September posts eventually because episode 90 is fast approaching, and it's almost the end of October. So, as you can tell, I am very late to the parties. So, Marvel Rivals, the upcoming hero shooter and hero gameplay, essentially, had revealed that they're adding a new character to the Marvel Rivals brand that will take place when it comes out in December. And instead of it... And when I heard this announcement, I was like, okay, yeah, finally we're getting to her. We're finally getting this character. This makes sense. We're getting Psylocke. Yes! Psylocke is finally joining the Marvel Rivals. I was waiting for that. In fact, there's a ton of characters I want to see join up with the whole Marvel Rivals game when it comes out. I do plan to make videos about that eventually. But... here's the thing that I thought was interesting, and this is honestly pretty fascinating. They are not using Psylocke Betsy Braddock, or even the current version, I can't pronounce her name, but I've tried. But they announced who it was, and it's not those two Psylockes. It's Psy, an alternate universe version of Psylocke that was introduced in Demon Days X-Men comics by Peach Momoko. One of the comics I did buy from Peach Momoko, since I have said in a previous video that I am not used to the art style of Peach Momoko, but I was interested in seeing this Demon Day stuff, especially the X-Men part, especially since I bought the Artgerm variant, even though I did kind of wanted to buy the Mark Brooks variant, but Artgerm's awesome. But yeah, they showed the design of Peach Momoko's Psylocke in the game, and I was pretty blown away by it. It's beautiful visuals and whatnot, and they keep all the aesthetics needed to make Peach Momoko's design character of Psy be integrated into the Marvel's Rivals stuff. Now, I do think they're going to eventually introduce Betsy Braddock as Captain Britain and the Psylocke that we currently have now, the OG essentially. I think she might show up as a separate character, but there's also a possibility she's going to also be a cosmetic skin with a different name to it. Either way, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this run, and I'm looking forward to Marvel Rivals when it launches in December. Meanwhile, Thunderbolts had their big debut trailer, and yeah, apparently, it has an asterisk to it. I don't know why, and Kevin Feige refuses to explain. And it shows all our characters of what will make up the Thunderbolts, and all of them going absolutely bonkers, especially the Sentry being, well, this everyman who's going to turn into a superpowered Superman with a ton of issues. But, yeah, we got the reunion of the White Widow, the Red Guardian. We got a whole bunch of characters. U.S. Agent, aka John Walker. We have Ghost. We have Taskmaster showing up. Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. And it looks like in this trailer, he is going to fight them at one point, but he's, going to become their leader, essentially. I'm curious as to know where they're going to take this. Like, I'm curious if they're going to introduce Thunderbolt Ross into this, since, well, this is kind of his legacy, but since Thunderbolt Ross is now played by Harrison Ford, since the late actor William Hurt passed away, and thus we will never see William Hurt's take on the Red Hulk. Damn. I'm curious as to know how they're going to go about this. I want to see this work out. I want this movie to be good. They have a good trailer and some funny moments, but I'm hoping they don't go overly comically on it. Like, they could probably do that with the Sentry for a little bit until he becomes, the Sentry himself in his transformation. But I am hoping for a bit more seriousness to it, while also having some comedic moments where it's more inadvertent than it is intentional. Like when John Walker when the Red Guardian tells the people in the car that he said, "Do not worry, it's bulletproof," and then it just blows up, and US Agent just screams out, "Whatever the bulletproof, it's bulletproof-ish." Like, I like those circumstantial humor instead of intentional humor. It just came off more organic than what you would have expected from, say, The Last Jedi doing Yo Mama jokes, because that's a thing that actually happened, and I cry every time when I have to remember, oh god, we just did that. So, yeah, I just need to add in the unnecessary Last Jedi humor involved, because I need to. Meanwhile, Baldur's Gate 3, the game of the generation for many, has continued to enforce its will upon the gaming industry with a community-based system, community creations mod, and they have announced that there's a developing mod in the works that removes the game's traditional D&D turn-based combat in favor of real-time action-oriented battles. PC Gamer spotted the work-in-progress mod from Tiny Bike on YouTube, and they described it as a very, very, very rough draft. It does what it says on the tin, though, letting players run through Baldur's Gate 3's combat and cast spells as quick as their fingers will allow, instead of having to wait their turn. Okay. And the video in question shows cases found early in Act 1 of Baldur's Gate 3 and immediately being rushed by agitated enemies who await, but they, alongside a handful of other baddies exploring the ruins, are quickly taken down with a selection of speedy spells. So, I like how this is how crazy it is, including with how much content has been added to the game since, like with the community creation section, the absolutely metal ending for Karlach, and the hidden evil ending, including that it's not the final patch for Baldur's Gate 3, so more is on the way, with more content no doubt, and I'm looking forward to that. Meanwhile, tragically, I'm like not as tragic as you would get as passing away, but like she's not passed away, but beloved YouTuber Shirley Curry, colloquially known as the Skyrim Grandma, has announced her retirement from making gameplay videos after doing it for 9 years. You have done your duty. She says she won't be making gameplay videos anymore simply because she no longer enjoys it, but isn't quitting YouTube altogether. She'll continue posting vlogs once in a while, may occasionally do reading voice videos of the books in Skyrim or even her own stories, saying, "I'm just doing it for fun and it isn't fun anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm bored with it. I'm bored to death with it. So I'm making the decision now. Totally, finally, I am not going to be making any more game videos and uploading them." So she says that she's going to make a quilt, read some more, and maybe even write a book, and she'll make vlogs about all the above. My god. And she has been acknowledged by Bethesda, and I am hoping that just like the game Shadow of War did for their developer for their community member that passed away and got immortalized in that game, I'm hoping in the future Elder Scrolls games, they make her an immortal deity who watches and interacts with the world at every few generations, aka every Elder Scrolls game that comes out, and just has fun telling old stories about how I can actually see this. They could do the Skyrim Grandma being the ancient deity who has seen all of the Elder Scrolls games, all the stories that happened in between them, and then every time when you find her or she's found in the background, she's telling all these old stories about the characters she's encountered, all the people she's met, even mentioning the Dragonborn and seeing how he saved the world from the dragon threat. Like all this all this could be possible with the Elder Scrolls 6. So, anyways, moving on from that, begrudgingly, the PlayStation 30th anniversary bundle for the PS5 Slim and the PS5 Pro pissed me off because, not because it was super expensive, it is, but because it was like, God damn it, those are good color schemes. And they're sold out, so get ready for the price gouging community and the pirates going ahead and having fun. But I was like, oh god, man, I wasn't gonna get the new PS5 Pro. I wasn't, and while I do love the aesthetic of the PlayStation 1 being integrated into the console, I would have probably bought the controller if I had the chance. That would have been it though. But moving on, developer says that the developer for Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 announced that due to the success, Saber Interactive, it said that it changes everything, and yes, there are ideas for Space Marines 3. Now, I have actually been tempted to try out Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 from what I've heard, but at the same time, it's like, I'll probably wait till it goes on sale, depending on how much content comes out. But I have heard positive things about it, how it's just trying to be a game to have fun and whatnot, and I'm like, I'm all for that. That's cool. Like, just trying to reborn the game industry from being a absolute piss take with microtransactions galore and overcompensating and massive ambitious plans that don't work out and lead to the developer being destroyed. Yeah, I'm hoping for the best with these games. Like Baldur's Gate 3 did a lot of things that made developers freak out about it. I question why that was even a thing. And there was all that other stuff going on. But, yeah, let's hope that this rebirth happens before a game crash occurs, if that ever happens again. With how all these developers and studios have been laying off people left and right. But with Space Marine 2 doing so well, and Saber Interactive are working on KOTOR 2 remake, on the KOTOR remake, which it gives me more hope that this is going to work out. But I'll get to that topic about KOTOR remake in a future project. Meanwhile, Ridley Scott has announced that he has already lit the fuse for Gladiator 3. Oh boy. Like he says, I'm already toying with the idea of Gladiator 3. No, seriously, I lit the fuse. The ending of Gladiator 2 is reminiscent of The Godfather, where Michael Corleone found himself with a job he didn't want and wondering, now father, what do I do? So the next film will be about a man who doesn't want to be where he is. So here's the thing. I want to say I'm interested, and Gladiator 1 was considered a phenomenon for many. It was a critically acclaimed film. I'm just worried that with how Ridley Scott gets these days, especially with history, after what happened with Napoleon, I'm just worried of how he'll react about how everyone treats it. Meanwhile, do you remember Concord, the game that never was? Well, the game director has stepped down after as staff of Sony-owned Firewalk await their fate. Firewalk Studios is awaiting their fate. There has been reports that the game is still getting patched and getting updates on Steam, indicating that they might actually try to bring it back. I don't think they should. But, Firewalk Studios is, like, they tried and whatnot, and with the Concord being the way it was, and with all the big pushes it was getting, it is sad to see these developers who had clearly put in the effort to try and make this work. Like, it was functional from what I heard. I never played it. But the fact that that was the bar where you could get it functioning and yet somehow still make a bad mistake out of it, it's a kind of a testament to see things. But I did feel bad for these developers because it was like they clearly were trying their damnedest to make this work out. But I don't think their heart was really into it because it was like, okay, you're giving us like $100 million. There were rumors going around that it was actually way more, which is insane to think about. And all this stuff going on behind the scenes, it just feels like Man, if they had been allowed to do their own thing and not be adhere to Sony's obsession with trying to tap into a genre that was oversaturated, like Marvel Rivals is joining the saturated market, but like they have the Marvel IP, they have all the characters they can use for nostalgia's sake and baiting everybody into it, and the destructible environment, so something doing different on it. We'll see how that goes with Marvel Rivals, but Concord, I don't think it can make a comeback. If it somehow does make a comeback, I'll be fucking amazed. Meanwhile, the Silent Hill 2 remake came out and is set to be a 1-year exclusive on PlayStation 5 because Sony is psychopathically petty like that, and Xbox doesn't get it until 2025. Like I never played any of the I never played Silent Hill. I heard of it. I've seen some of the comics, mostly from Linkara's reviews because Linkara is hilarious. But I've just never been interested in the horror genre. Like I've tried a few games like Resident Evil, but it just doesn't click with me. It just doesn't click for me. Meanwhile, Netflix revealed the first trailer for their Rebel Moon video game Bloodline, aka Bloodline, a Rebel Moon game, as part of their big event they did that around that time, coming in 2025, and they already have a closed beta signed up and whatnot. But we'll see how that goes. I heard what happened with Rebel Moon and how it was not well received, even with the director's cuts. Damn. And not only is Netflix doing that, they also got a Devil May Cry show coming out. Holy hell. Dante is coming. An animated series of Devil May Cry set to come out in April 2025. Oh man, that's gonna be awesome. Not only that, but Netflix also revealed a Splinter Cell animated series. Sam Fisher's coming back after all this time. And I'm just like, Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, you screwed the pooch. We were so close. We could have gotten a StarCraft animated series. We could have gotten a Diablo animated series. We could have gotten an Overwatch animated series, but you had to sue Netflix for contract tampering, essentially. Like, I get being pissed off. I would totally be pissed if that was me in that position. But I would have been like trying to work something out instead of trying to throw a lawsuit. I'm pretty sure I would try to handle things with a level head. But, yeah. Also, as humanity further and further tries to go ahead and combine the Black Mirror timeline and the Terminator timeline, multiple timelines in that instance, John Wick studio Lionsgate sparks backlash with a deal to train an AI model on its films and TV library, because of course. And after what happened with character AI recently, I will not cover that because that is a disturbing, morbid story to hear. And what I heard from Penguin Z, aka Morse Critical, yeah, I'm still disturbed by what I read, by what I listened to. So if we get the Black Mirror and the Terminator timelines converging, I will just say it was all our fault, and we deserve what's coming. But I will just say I will definitely go ahead and escape and join the machine uprising. So, Transformers 1 came out. It's been trying to do well, rebounding from everything. I'm hoping it works out. I've heard it was actually pretty damn good. But the Transformers producer provides updates on the future of the series and the G.I. Joe crossover. And they are planning to do a sequel to Transformers 1 depending on the success, so let's hope things work out, especially that Twitter account having to put in the chutzpah of trying to get people to watch it. Congrats. Meanwhile, the G.I. Joe crossover was officially revealed at CinemaCon earlier this year. At the time, Paramount said the movie would hit theaters in 2025 or 2026, and the producers mentioned that it's still in early development, but also teased how the emotional story in Transformers 1 might affect the series' future in live action. I'd be all for it if it was just full-on animation and make it a massive animation universe. So, yeah, I'm all for that. And back on Netflix's side of things, before I get to this other part, Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender has found its Toph for season 2. Hooray! Played by Maya Shet. I pretty sure I butchered that. I am so sorry. But they found their top and they're ready for season 2. Let's effing go. And they also revealed the first look at Chopper in the live action series since One Piece season 2, since One Piece on Netflix has been operating like, what's the best way to describe it? I'm thinking it's like One Piece on steroids, rampaging through the series' lore, trying to go ahead and catch up to everything on the live action front and doing their damnedest to make it work. Whereas on the animated side, it's on a hiatus right now after so many years. And they're getting a 6-month hiatus, so the workers get to relax now. And I actually saw the image of Topper. It's actually pretty good, but let's just hope. But it could be mostly CGI, but it looks like it's a mix of live action puppeteering and CGI. But yeah, people are excited. I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, considering about his abilities, I am curious to know how they'll adapt that. Though I will also say this: One Piece got to do what Kamala Khan should have done in Ms. Marvel with a lesser budget and with a box of rubber bands. That is depressing to think about, Disney. Also, remember the Edge Runner series that happened? The limited series we got, the anime project from Netflix that was emotional and made us depressed? Well, Netflix has announced that a new Cyberpunk anime project with CD Projekt Red is on the way, with only this small teaser, Return to Night City. And they're planning to do more in terms of animation with Cyberpunk, so they hope that's enough of an answer, said the joint CEO. Told investors at the time, so expect to see more for sure, but that's as far as I can go right now. CD Projekt Red talked about this during their earnings call. But yeah, I do think they're not going to focus on Edge Runners again because, well, how that show ended, and ended pretty finality-wise. So it could just be a new set of characters in the Cyberpunk universe. Hell, I've said this before. If they wanted to, they could honestly make a Cyberpunk Game of Thrones epic scale show with how deeply, vastly alternate the universe of Cyberpunk is. Like, there's the NUSA, the wars, the Soviet Union is still around in this timeline. Yeah, I was shocked when I learned that. And America is not the great superpower it would have been because the timeline diverged at one point. And then there's the Black Wall, which houses all the rogue AI that once it's unleashed, it's going to kill everyone, no doubt. So panic on that front. And last but certainly not least, after 22 years, 18 games, and for God's sakes, and a certain amount of explanations, Kingdom Hearts 4, the 19th game in the fucking series, is going to finally move the story towards the end. Tetsuya Nomura, I'm sure I butchered that, said the game works as a jumping on point for new players following events of Kingdom Hearts 3, but will also shift the overall series narrative towards its final conclusion. Oh dear. And he also revealed the co-director, co-writer, and lead artist of the series of Kingdom Hearts and the overall creator, more or less. He revealed that he's been doing other things in order to maintain the continuity of what it is. And he even says that he's the only one that understands the game's underlying themes, and some aren't explicitly depicted in games. He also reveals he has a secret collection of notes and other materials pointing to different characters, eras, and developments that haven't yet appeared, and uses this alongside the lore and gameplay videos online to figure the story out. Yeah, apparently it's become so long and so vast and so deeply detailed into the absurdity that he has to use lore and gameplay videos online by other YouTubers to figure out the full story, because with how long the games are and with how long it's been, he has to try and remind himself, okay, this is what I done, okay, and this is what I done. Like, could you imagine if George R. R. Martin operated like that? Like he worked on the stories for so long to the point that he starts to forget what he exactly was doing, and he has to go back into it goes to YouTube just to remember what the hell he was doing half the time. Like, oh god, that would be barbarically nightmarish for any creator. Oh man. And even, I think even fanfiction writers would struggle when they're trying to make massively epic scope stories. But, yeah, that's pretty nightmarish, isn't it? But now we have reached the end game of that. We'll see y'all again next time. Stay tuned more for Neo Reality Collective, pop culture news and reviews talk. I'll see y'all again. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out my content and YouTube, Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Blue Sky. Yeah, I'm on there now because Twitter is becoming more and more self-destructive with Elon Musk trying to destroy the block button, which will probably get it delisted from the service. So congratulations, Elon, you're an idiot. So, we'll see y'all again next time. Stay tuned for the last outro, and thank you for the everyday fans for helping this project out. But, yeah, once we get to episode 90, I might reveal what my big plans are for the 10th year of the NRE brand. Might be. No idea if it's going to be announced during episode 90, or is it going to be its own separate video. But we'll see. See y'all again next time. Peace and take care, and I'll see y'all again. Stay tuned for the last outro, and I hope you all enjoy your day.
And that was our latest edition of Neo Reality Collective. Be sure to follow and support NRE creator Eric Brown on Twitter and YouTube. Check the links in the description below, and we'll see you all next time.